Jeff Koinange, and this is Jeff Koinange Live. It's going to be one of those kinds of shows tonight, because on this World Anti-Corruption Day, we have two guests on the bench. I call them crusaders because they speak without fear or favor. Boniface Mwangi has been shouting from the top of the mountains, talking about cracking down on corruption. In fact, as recently as last week, he led a march all the way to State House, didn't make it there, got arrested, finally got released. Today, he was going to march again. The courts refused because he's determined to take this petition all the way to State House, urging the president to crack down on corruption. On the far right, a man who, I tell you, he's lucky to be alive, but what a guy. Even after working for the United Nations for decades, he comes back, he becomes member of parliament for Kamukunji in absentia because of a bomb attack, you know the story. But look at him, he still keeps talking without fear or favor. Tonight, both of them have said they're going to declare their wealth, just like other people have today. Bob Collymore, amongst others. Goodness, how much does he earn? So, Twitter handles at MP Yusuf Hassan, at Boniface Mwangi, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag, as always, on Wednesdays, State of the Nation. Use that hashtag, tweet, send your comments, questions, anything you want, and we'll read them out as we go along. In the meantime, it is World Anti-Corruption Day. Two great gentlemen on the bench. Gentlemen, good to see you.
Good to see you too, man.
Mheshimiwa, thanks so much for coming.
It's a pleasure, as always.
You have a suit today.
Yeah, man. It's important. It's a big day. I'm on the bench. Gashoka is not here.
Oh, you did not go there.
So that's I'm in a suit.
Yeah.
And I got the color right.
You got the memo.
I got the memo, man, from your wife.
Mheshimiwa clearly didn't get the memo.
Clearly.
He's from Kamukunji.
I'm out of the loop.
All right, let's start. How much you worth?
3 million shillings.
Come on, man. What does that mean?
So I have an old car, 15-year-old car, that is worth about 800,000.
That's what you drive?
That's what I drive. I have a motorbike. I have some savings in the circle. And then liabilities, kidogo, about 3 million shillings.
You are worth 3 million shillings?
Yes.
How much do you have in the bank?
About 1 million shillings.
And Power 254, how do you power 254?
So Power is a space where it's a community space and you get donor funded for to do the activities.
And
the
that's
art,
not your money?
The training, that's not my money.
Yeah.
So it's not my money. So I can't say it's my money. So it's a space that we started, me and my wife.
You're worth 3 million?
Just that.
With 5 kids? I mean, how many kids?
No, 3 kids. My wife is at 2 million. So most of our money, so I earn a living, I have a salary, I speak for a living, I travel the world to speak. I take
and you
photos.
get paid for that?
Yes.
Yes.
So the money that I get actually, it's a shame, but my kids go to a private school. And it's expensive.
Why is it a shame?
Because I think ideally it should be in a public school because you should have a good education system.
Yeah.
But they have to go to a private school.
Okay.
So most of the money is school fees, cost of living, medical cover, and then, you know, as an African, when you have a pay slip, it goes to your relatives, everyone wants part of your money.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do get paid well, not as well as Bob Collymore, or you, or him, but...
Did you see Bob's money?
Wow.
He gets 9 million a month.
But he gets a good return for Safaricom shareholders. Let's go back to me.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
So yeah, so that's...
And you can live on 3 million?
No, that's not the money that I earn. That's the money that that's total wealth that I have, 3 million shillings.
You're lying.
That's how much I'm worth. Why do you think I'm lying?
Mheshimiwa.
Well, I must say that my income is lower than the tax returns of Bob Collymore.
No,
the tax returns on his 10 million shillings a month.
Listen, actually, Bob Collymore, his monthly tax is what I'm totally worth. As in, I've been working since I was 15 years old. But my net worth
is 3 million, which he pays in taxes.
Taxes every month.
Mheshimiwa, you too?
Well, let me say, first of all, that I have never worked for a profit-making agency.
Yeah, from the UN to...
I have been a public servant all my life.
Yes.
And I have only been a member of parliament for the last 4 years. So in a way, the shortest time that I've spent in any institution is been a member of parliament. And for that period, I have neither owned any piece of land or any property.
In the last 4 years?
since I became a member of
You
parliament.
should be ashamed of yourself.
Whatever I have earned, I earned honestly as a public service, either in the United Nations or in my broadcasting.
So how much are you worth?
Well, I'll say that I partly own an apartment in New York,
Okay.
and I have an apartment in Nairobi here, and I have a vehicle.
Your own.
Yes, my own vehicle. And in addition to that, I am paid a salary of a member of parliament. And let me just go through that one. My net income is 800,000 a month.
Net.
Yes, of which 310 goes into taxes. So my take-home pay is 490,000 shillings. You know, I have earned much more than that.
Allowances?
You know, when you talk of allowances, you assume that every member of parliament attends every
Sitting
sitting.
Yeah.
And the other thing that you add on to the factor of members of parliament salary is mileage. My constituency is 300 meters from parliament. I don't...
You don't make false claims.
And I have never traveled on any foreign parliamentary
You haven't?
trip since becoming a member
Did you
of
belong
parliament.
to any committees?
I do.
Which ones?
Defense and foreign affairs, as
Uh-huh.
well as delegated legislation.
Uh-huh.
But since becoming a member of parliament in 2013, I have not undertaken any foreign trip.
You haven't?
I have.
Why not?
I don't need to, because I'm working for my constituency. I don't see the reason why I should be traveling to places just because there is a...
To benchmark food.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. Some people might get angry when I ask this, but let me ask you. So when the president travels, and he travels with some members of the Defense and Foreign Relations Committee, you don't go on those trips?
No, if there is a reason for the president to take a delegation, there must be a reason why he should take members of my committee, like the chairman or the deputy chairman.
Yeah.
But I don't see any reason for me to be traveling unless there is a requirement for my specialized knowledge or input.
And you take 490,000 home a month?
Yes.
That's it?
Yes. And then the other factor that is not put into is that my job description is ambiguous. I am a legislator. My job is to represent the people of Kamukunji, to legislate, to speak for them. But as you and I know, a member of parliament is also a welfare officer. And so unless we can redefine
Yes.
and we change this role,
Yeah.
and we also change the mindset of the voters to think the parliamentarians simply in terms of sending someone to parliament to pass legislation and to
Yes.
represent them,
Yeah.
we're going to have that problem.
Yeah. How does Sonko do it? No, don't answer that. But do you think this declaration of wealth on this day, I guess it started on this day, World Anti-Corruption Day, you think it's a good thing, Boniface?
I think it's a good thing. So what you're trying to do is actually, if you declare your wealth, you can do a lifestyle audit. For example, in 2013, Anne Oigoro became the CS for devolution. She declared her wealth. There's a file that she filed with the Public Service Commission. And now we saw on TV she has a 100 million house, she has other houses and all these things. If you go back to her declaration, you can see how much did she declare and audit her lifestyle in the last 2 years. And every other single member of parliament, like him, he's going to declare his wealth today. I don't know how much are you. How much are you worth? You haven't said it yet.
Well, Jeff...
You
is
just
going
did.
to- Yes,
No,
I
he
just
didn't
did,
say
yeah.
how much. He didn't say the number.
But you do the math. Part apartment in New York.
No,
part
why did you ask
apartment
him amount? Ask him amount. He's here.
But you're lying.
No, I'm not lying.
Nobody, you can't be worth 3 million, Boniface.
Jeff, why not?
3 million shillings.
Yes.
You.
Yes.
In this suit and this is.
So listen,
And all the traveling.
And all the traveling.
they pay me when I travel, and so let's say how many years ago? 5 years ago, I was working as a photographer. I had a photo studio. I had 3 cars. I had a different lifestyle. And you know that story.
Yes. And you sold your cars.
I sold my cars,
Yes.
sold my studio, open power, community space. So the days that I used to have money, those are the days that I used to have money. I had a business. I was a business partner in a media agency. I had businesses that I was actually doing.
Yeah.
And I quit my job, sold my things, open power, which is a community space.
Yes.
So I used to have money. That's a true thing.
So when you buy those pigs and take them to Parliament, how much is a pig?
Come on, you're being flippant here. A pig is like how many? 10,000 shillings?
But I
Jeff.
think...
Yeah.
No, Jeff, let's go to particulars.
I think it requires more than declaration, because all public officers are required by law to declare their
Their
wealth,
wealth.
Yes.
every year.
Yes.
And it is placed under the custody of a public official. It's on file. And therefore, we have the laws, we have the rules, and if there is a need, every public officer's wealth, declared wealth, is known. The question is not so much whether you declare your wealth or not. It is your character and your behavior in public office that determines whether you're doing your job honestly and you're working for the public office that you have been elected or appointed to in an honest and a fair manner.
Okay, the demand is very simple. The demand is simple. We need every declaration to be made public on a public website. So if you have questions about his wealth and his source, you go to the website and see it. Because normally when they steal, they had the money. And so we're saying if you have a place where you can access this information, you can actually ask questions. For example, Article 35 of the Constitution says that let me give it to you. Here. You have a right to access to information.
Yep.
And all you're saying is, Mr. President, you declared your wealth in 2013. And so the Deputy President did the same thing. Why can't you access this information? Because you have a right to access that information. It's a constitutional right for us to access the information. So once you have that information, if there's any discrepancy in your lifestyle, you can actually blow the whistle and say, no, I know he has an apartment, no, there's this.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Yes.
What Bob Collymore did today,
Yes.
was that a good thing?
It's a great thing.
Mheshimiwa, was that a good thing?
Well, it is both good and bad. If by declaring we're going to see how transparent he is, that is fine. But what kind of impact it's going to have in his organization in terms of labor relations, in terms of the earnings of staff members, what kind of reaction is it going to have?
Yes.
Is it going to be positive or negative?
Yeah, but let's face it, Bonnie, because some guy who's earning 200K at Safaricom thinks he works 8 days a week, and then he realizes his boss is making 10 meter a month. Come on, man.
No, that logic is very good for a member of parliament if they'd apply that when they're getting a pay rise. Because if he earns, let's say how much does he earn? $1 million shillings, how much you're supposed to get?
800.
800,000.
Yeah, net.
A cop earns 15,000 shillings. A guard, the watchman, is 6,000, 8,000 shillings. A house girl is 4,000 bob. So if you apply that logic, actually, the people governing this country should not earn first-class country salaries, and you live in a third-world country. If Bob Collymore is going to give value to their shareholders, that's fine. We can argue that it's a private company. The argument you should actually have, how does the deputy president give out 17 million shillings in a week and he earns $1 million shillings? If Bob Collymore gives 17 million shillings and he's out 300 million, say yes. But
let me ask you this.
Yes.
What Mheshimiwa just said, I think he hit the nail on the head. Relations in the company.
That's
labor
Safaricom.
relations.
What about relations in Kenya, this country, where the majority of us earn like 8,000, 10,000 shillings a month, while a member of parliament earns $1 million shillings a month, or an MCA?
I think there's a very big danger here.
Yes.
That if we personalize corruption, we're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah.
Corruption is an institutional problem in our society. It is perverse, widespread. It is a national problem.
Yeah.
When you make it as an individual of saying, John is this, James is that, we're not going to tackle that particular problem. What we need is strong legislation framework to deal with it. We need to close the gaps and the loopholes that exist. We need to have a commitment, which we've already had, and a political will, which we have had from our president in the last few weeks.
Yeah.
A very strong commitment to declare corruption as a national
Was
security.
that too little, too late, Mheshimiwa? Or
No, it is never too late in dealing with a crisis of that kind. This is a problem that we need to deal with it as a developing country. Otherwise, it is going to eat into our social
you think
fabric.
he's committed now?
Absolutely.
Boniface?
There is no president who has taken those actions. There is no president who has fired 5 of his cabinet ministers, 6 of his cabinet ministers, and has expressed a commitment to deal with it. It is not only the president of Kenya who should be fighting corruption. It is all of us.
Let me give an example. So in 2013, President Uhuru Kenyatta comes into office with good intentions, and he says that his office is the most corrupt in the country, and he never fires anyone, and no one goes to jail. That was 2013. He launched a website that was never effective and was never used, and it's been 2 years of talk. The president promised to take a pay cut, and said everyone should take a pay cut, which never happened. It hasn't been effected, and so this country has 4 pillars.
How do you know he didn't take a pay cut?
Because there's no legislation to point to take a pay cut.
Maybe he doesn't even know what he makes.
Because he doesn't check his payslip. Okay. Now the thing is, this country has 4 pillars. There's the executive, the legislature, the judiciary, and the most strongest one is corruption. It's the 4th pillar of this country. And the president is afraid that if he fights corruption, the pillar is going to collapse the country called Kenya. But the thing is, if the president fights corruption, the fourth pillar called corruption is going to fall, and we Kenyans are going to join him and hold the country together. The problem is, does the president have the backbone to fight the corrupt mafia in this country? Because corruption fights back. Our president paid Anglo-Leasing ghosts. He actually paid those guys. He said, oh, we must pay because of our debt rating and all these other things. Eurobond is under controversy right now. And you are asking, if the money for Eurobond was not stolen, why can't Rotich publish the figures and the numbers in a newspaper? We can't all go to his office.
He has already done that.
And he's urged people to go see him, by the way.
We can't go to his office.
Why not?
No,
if you're in Turkana or Mombasa, you can't go to his office.
No, the cabinet secretary has given that information, has told everyone who wants that information, and it will be published. I can give it to you. Today, he tabled all the figures relating to the Eurobond. What you are dealing with is speculation. What you are dealing with is political speculation. It has nothing to do with the reality of corruption in our country, because corruption is not a Jubilee thing.
No,
corruption does not have a party.
True.
Corruption does not. It did not start with Jubilee.
That's true.
It will not end with Jubilee. The same people who are talking about corruption, whose information you seem to be promoting as legitimate.
No. Listen, I'm not promoting anyone.
Part of the corruption.
I'm not promoting
Gentlemen, let's take a break. Let's take a break. It's heating up.
But I'm not promoting anyone.
It's cold by the pool, man, but whoa! It's heating up.
Not yet.
3 million shillings?
Yes.
You're lying. Mushmula, come on,
No, you
man.
can't call me a
You
lie.
can't be worth 3 million
I'm
shillings.
going to sue you.
Join the line. Oh my goodness, Boniface Mwangi is worth 3 million. Bob Collymore can cough and he'll give you 3 million. On a bad day.
Una matusi.
We are talking on this very important day, World Anti-Corruption Day. Two gentlemen right here. The Member of Parliament for Kamukunji, Yusuf Hassan, and activist, the founder of Power 254, what is it, Courageous? What was it, Courage?
Team Courage.
Team Courage leader, team leader, Boniface Mwangi. Twitter handles are at MP Yusuf Hassan, at Boniface Mwangi. Mine is at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag, State of the Nation. My goodness, maybe chilly here by the pool. Conversation is heating up. Jeff Koinange Live takes a break. We'll be back in a moment. 3 million.
Yes, come.